I have shared this before, but I have to again because it came back. I remember when we were praying, waiting for my biopsy results. And I remember praying that I don't get a positive cancer diagnosis. And yet the Holy Spirit kept leading me to pray for the strength to fight because it's coming, it's here. And I struggled with that, especially when my friend told me, Linda, don't agree with the diagnosis. She didn't know this was going on. This was an internal struggle for me. But she said, do not agree with the diagnosis. You have to pray against it. And every time I tried, the thought was always, pray to fight through it. Pray for the will to fight. And then, of course, I shared, fast forward, we're in the church after I got the diagnosis. We hadn't told our kids yet, and my son comes to me, says, God knew what he was doing when he gave you to me as my mommy. And out of nowhere, we were praying, and then he said, it's time for us to take care of you. So I knew, once again, I need to hold on to this. It's going to be needed. I didn't understand to what capacity. I have needed it. And my kids more recently reminded me. We had the breast cancer walk in October. And my daughter always complains after we walk for a little while. She wants to be carried. She's tired. You know how little legs can't do too much. Whatever she does it strong though, strongly. But so we walked, and these kids walked for 2.5 miles for Ruru and 3 whole miles for Josiah to the finish line. Their legs were hurting. You could visibly see it. But they kept going. And I remember getting to a point I felt so bad for my daughter, but you could see she's doing it for me. She was just quiet and just continued. She did not complain. And I felt so horrible, and I just wanted to carry her. So I carried her, put her on my back because my husband could have carried her, and he did. But I said, no, I have to carry her. To me, this was symbolic of just not just walking. This was symbolic. I'm carrying my baby, that she doesn't have to go through what I'm going through. It ends with me. And so we kept saying, it ends with me. I told her, it ends with me. I will not have breast cancer. I will not have cancer. And she was repeating after me. But having her on my back, it just made me feel like what I've been carrying through this whole process, and what I'm carrying, and what it means symbolically and spiritually to me, that it ends with me. It's not going forward in my bloodline, any type of cancer or illness for that matter. So it was very emotional for me. I finished the mile with her on my back. And then I remember last week, I just said, God, give me strength. I said it under my breath. I mumbled under my breath, God, give me strength. And I didn't know she could hear me. I was getting her ready. And she was dancing, and she stopped, and she came to me. And she said it honestly in this voice. She said, but you're already strong, Mommy, and I love you. And she gave me a hug. It took me back to what the Holy Spirit told me to pray about. Pray for the will to fight, for a reason to fight. I remember, when I was praying in the church, I said, God, give me a reason to fight. That's when my son came to me and told me what I said earlier in terms of saying that God God has a reason why he gave you to me as my mom, and it's time for us to take care of you. So for a 7-year-old to say that was definitely God. But it took me back to that when my daughter recently said that. She said, you're already strong, Mommy. It was an encouragement, but it was also a quickening to get me back in shape, to know, hey, you have to fight. Your children have to see you in their old age. You've had the privilege to see your mother in her older age as she's growing, and you will continue to see her. Let your children do what you can to make sure your children see you in the future. They see you, and you get to see your grandchildren or great-grandchildren for that matter. So they're keeping me going. These are my reason for fighting. When you're going through something hard, you need to be intentional, bring to your consciousness what you need to help you keep holding on, to keep fighting. There is always something. There's always something, even if it's just a reminder of yourself, of who you were, your younger self. Oh, Linda, you used to be tenacious. Linda, you used to be a fighter. Then that helps you to just say, okay, I'm holding on to that Linda, for that Linda. So finding a reason really helps. It really helps, and keeping it at the forefront. that has been helping me on this journey. So I thank the Lord once again. He prepared my steps even as I was getting the diagnosis. Every little thing that happened was to help me along the way. And that's what he does with our lives. Anyway, just thought I would share. Let's keep fighting.